If you're struggling to lose those first 5 pounds, I get it. I made every mistake in the book. I wasted months. I've been in the same position as you are, feeling like you're not good. And I'm here to tell you, you're not. I'm just fucking with you. You are. You just need clarity on where you're going. Once I started figuring out what I was doing wrong, the fat started melting off, my body started transforming, and things just became a whole lot easier. And in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down the 8 biggest mistakes I did so you don't waste the time like I did. But first, if y'all don't know me, my name is Eric. I'm a fat loss coach for beginners. I help busy people lose their first 5 pounds in just 30 days without slashing calories or getting good foods. Here, we polish that rust, sharpen that iron, and transform into something brand new. Now, those pants you always be wearing, you notice they're starting to get a little tighter. The outfit you once loved, you're starting to feel insecure in any social setting. That confidence is just slipping away, and you feel like you're just losing yourself. I know that feeling because I been there myself. And what if there's another way out? Imagine those pants fit well for you again. The outfit you love, you walk in any social room feeling strong, confident, and comfortable in your own skin. No second guessing, no hiding. Just you looking and feeling your best. And that's the goal. And today we're going to make sure you avoid the same mistakes I made. Now, a little backstory on me. I didn't start really focusing on this until I finished my collegiate level playing football and I moved down to Houston. And throughout the time, I bet my highs being at 217, 220, looking my best. And I bet my lows being at 255 and 260, looking my worst. And through those times, I didn't really understand what was happening. I just was never really satisfied. But it's not once until I really sat down with myself, a few months ago and started really looking at what I was doing wrong. And these were the 8 mistakes I was doing that I transformed that I have the physique up to this point. And this is to help you avoid all the crash diets, yo-yo diets, and regain the confidence you once deserved. So without further ado, we're going on the first mistake. And the mistake number one was not hitting my protein. So when I first moved down to Houston, the first thing I was utilizing is make sure how much protein I was consuming. And when I first looked at that, I was only having 180 to 200 grams of protein. Now, for some of y'all, that may seem a lot, but for a guy like me, I was way under what I needed. So moving into fixing that mistake over the course of time, I improved myself to have about 245 to 260 grams of protein every single day. Now, the second mistake should have been flipped back. We're going to talk about number three first. Is I was tracking the calories for the wrong reason. And how do I mean by that? Well, every time that I would put myself in a bulking phase, I would only chase a number on the scale. So I was going through my old ways of feeling like I had to be at 255, 260 to bulk to gain muscle. When in reality, I was doing myself more of a disservice, just add extra more body fat onto my skin. So when I was saying like tracking calories for the wrong reason, even though like I was consuming, let's just say 4,000 calories back then when I was at 255, that body composition I was looking, I was just holding on more body fat. And yes, was I enjoying the comments that people were saying like, man, you're getting bigger? 100%. But at the same time, internally, I was not enjoying myself. I was just feeling like shit. So over the course of time, up to this point now, I'm eating about the same, if not more calories, being at 234 than when I was being at 255. So just understand like when we're bulking or when we're cutting, it's not so much about chasing a number on the scale in a sense. It's just more about what's really chasing the body composition, right? If we're trying to increase that calories, are you trying to increase it the right way by just improving the composition just a little bit, but not too much to the point where we start losing definitions or start losing those bellies? Or are we chasing the number on the scale, just trying to push the weight, right? Those are two different factors. And I tell you what, trying to chase the number on the scale was not my friend. So I still track my calories to this day, but now I do it for the right reasons versus the wrong. And now this kind of entails while I was tracking my calories is not knowing the foods of response. When I first started my journey and things that, and when I first really dialed in myself, my nutrition, at times late at night, or like I won't say late at night, but right before bed, I would have a yogurt, granola, protein shake, and a Pop Tart before bed. Now at the time, like, I thought calories are calories, and which they are, but over the period of time, I didn't really understand how like the foods, feel your body and how the foods respond to your body. And so what did I mean when I was having that as my last meal? Well, when we look at yogurt, has a little bit of sugars, right? And when we look at granola, has a lot of sugars, right? When we look at a protein shake, it's nothing really. That's not really in the picture, but you were still having calories right before bed, right? And then also two partarts, that contains a lot of sugars. So most of the consumption, like even though yes, I was consuming calories and the macros I needed, I was still consuming high amounts of sugars right before bed. And I didn't realize that was what's caused me to store more fat was because I wasn't burning those sugars, right? I was just going to bed right afterwards and I wasn't utilizing that extra kind of storage of energy. So it would just store it over time and just, cause me to gain more body fat as time went on. So understand like how the food, fuels your body and also responds. And on top of that too is like over time, like, I didn't know like at the time I can't do Greek yogurt anymore. At the time I was doing, but like Greek yogurt can't sit well for me anymore. So I can't do it anymore and things like that. And like also other foods like Brussels sprouts, I can't do it. It just makes me bloated and makes me gassy. Just to give you an example of how the foods respond to your body. So it's like over time, I found foods that respond well to my body, but also foods, that help me feel throughout my day, before my workout, after my workout, and all those things, right? So understand like how foods respond to your body and knowing what foods do to your body is very important. So, and that's the biggest mistake I didn't know until up to this point. Now, mistake number four was not optimizing my steps. Even though, yes, I do talk a lot about getting like 10K steps, right? Even for me back in the day, I was only probably averaging like 5 to 7,000 steps. And, at the time that like I was like, I wasn't really tracking my steps in a sense. I'm not really a big fan of cardio. I never have been, and probably never will be. I like doing my cardio playing soccer, volleyball, whatever the case is, right? But it's like at the time I was only averaging 5 to 7,000 steps. Now I'm averaging about 10 to 12,000. So if we're looking back at it, I'm averaging about another 5 to 7,000, extra steps now as opposed to when I was back then. And I know a lot of you guys think like walking is just like it doesn't do you anything or you think it's just like boring, but it's like honestly, walking is your best friend. Like if I'm at an extra additional 5 to 7,000 steps and that equivalents to add an extra 200, 250 calories, is that more acceptable for you? I think so. So it adds the 250 more calories onto, my daily expenditure to help me do so. I think that's a great turnout. Things that I think that's good return on investment. So that's the mistake I was doing in the past was not optimizing my steps. Another big thing I was not optimizing was hydration, my water intake. I just back then I was only having a half to three-fourths a gallon. Now again, for you, some of y'all, you might think that's a lot of water to intake, but again, for a guy like me, that's like nowhere close. So now moving up to this point, I make sure that I have at least a gallon minimum, and sometimes I try to go a little bit more just to help out with it. Because again, I was just dehydrating myself. I wasn't really like filling my body with water intake, keeping myself hydrated, all those things like that, and just helping, aid the digestion over a period of time to help flush everything out. So that was another mistake I look back in that I was making that I was like, damn, I was just really under intaking my water. I didn't know how important that was too as I gone through the journey. This is the biggest one. This is the biggest mistake that I know. It's just like I'm up to this point that's like, damn, it's been crazy thinking like how much this plays an impact. Sleep and stress. I'll start with sleep first. At the time, I was always the person that would always get like 7 to 8 hours of sleep. But sometimes, before, I would only like, I get 8 hours of sleep, but I wake up like I got hit by a truck and things. So I'd be so tired waking up. I'd be like, man, what's going on? I got 8 hours of sleep and, it's, I'm still feeling tired. It was to the point where I had to get nasal surgery because my nose was so fucked up that at the point it was causing me not to breathe through my nose. So I was just pretty much more mouth breathing, and to the point where I just wasn't get that quality sleep. It's not so much about the quantity. Yes, quality matters, but also the quality matters. So 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, I had septoplasty nasal surgery. So that kind of have helped. That was like 50% of the battle. So it has helped me sleep a little bit better. Has helped me get a little bit more quality sleep, deep sleep, but I still have another issue, which is gonna be my jaw, which that's another story for a later time, to work on things that to take care of the other half of the battle. But I tell you, like now, ever since ever getting the nasal surgery, my sleep has improved a lot versus back then. Stress. You don't understand how stress sneaks up onto you until you realize it that you're not in stress state anymore. Now, there's always gonna be times where we're always gonna be stressed, but it depends on how you manage the stress. That's how you're gonna calm it down, things like that. And there's one, specific thing I've talked to in the past before. I'm not going to say much about it, but it's like, through the breakup of the relationship, I didn't really like just being in a relationship is like, I didn't realize how much stress that was causing me. And it's crazy to think because you really don't think about it at the time. But until you realize, until like, you guys part ways or anything like that, you start doing your own thing. And you start to realize like you don't have the extra weight you're holding on to anymore just because you release so much stress. And that was the biggest killer for me was I was just holding on so much stress. Despite what else I got going on, I can handle that, but I didn't know that major part of my life was taking a toll on me. So really understand like what's causing you stress, what's causing you to hold on, because sometimes for you to even lose those first 5 pounds could be just from the stress itself. And it could just be like your cortisol is so high, like you're just like having like anxiety issues or just like you overthinking yourself or whatever the case may be that causes you to be a high state of stress. Like try to find ways to cope with it, try to find like ways to like make you feel calm, whether it's reading a book or listening to music, doing whatever that you do that calms you and finding that inner peace. And I tell you, once I found my inner peace, things have been a lot better. I noticed my strength has increased. I noticed my body has responded so much more better. I noticed my body's in a more calm state. It just improved 100% full over time. Number 7, I fall in this category. Yes, there's always these fear mongers about, certain things or like these people telling you restrict yourself from this. Yes, I did fall in this category. I fell in this trap. At a time where I thought vegetables were toxins, I fell into the trap. I think for the longest time, I would did not add vegetables into my diet. Yes, I was only doing fruit for my fiber and like other things like oats and grains, but as I wasn't doing the vegetables too. So in the meantime, these past 6 months, I add vegetable in diet. And if you're the person who's looking to, reduce the bloating, help aid the digestion, vegetables is a key to help you do so because it's something the fruit can't do. Again, we get a lot of micronutrients from fruits, but you get a different sort of micronutrients from vegetables too. And vegetables help aid the digestion and help with the bloating. So if you notice you're feeling yourself bloated, those 5 pounds could just come from that as well and things that. So understand, make sure you have balanced portions for yourself on the vegetables. Even for me, I have 4 cups of fruit, 4 to 5 cups of fruit, and like 2 to 3 cups of vegetables. I make sure I get enough in between those two space out to acquire the amount of fiber I need for myself and things that. And that was a very important part I noticed over time is how much better my digestion is and how much better my stomach feels adding vegetables into my diet. Now, the last one all kind of pertains these other 7 mistakes. And the last one was just falling back in my old ways. Every time where I would get down to 217, 220, and I would, recomp or rebound, I didn't rebound properly because I feel like that's my, like, I can keep doing my old way to a point where, like, cool, I can go back to the amount of calories I was eating before, and I can keep eating the same foods I was doing before. And to be honest, that wasn't a smart move because I lost the composition. I got back up to 255. Being flubby, like having belly and things that like love handles, all those things like that. Like sometimes lose my confidence and takes my shirt off at certain like events and things that it caused me to be in that position and stuff like it caused me to be in a state. Once I really realized that after I did this for like 2 or 3 years back to back and things that's when I told myself it's enough is enough and something has to change. And this is where all my mistakes came from is from reflecting this past year on like what really has changed for me. And this is the issue for you guys again when you guys start your journey, when you guys try to re-enter your journey again and like tell yourself enough is enough, like you're ready to, be a different person, become a new version of yourself, be more confident, look sexy in social settings, right? Whatever the case is, taking your shirt off in public and things that are at the beach, whatever the case is you guys don't reflect on what you guys did in the past. You guys don't reflect on the mistakes you did, all those things like that. So when it comes to like really like looking back in your past journey, things like reflection is a key part of your journey and is a key part of moving to the next level and things that. And these are the same 8 mistakes I did. Even when like know my foods and the response. Even when I have fun foods, even when you guys see me do challenges, right? You guys see me do these like high caloric intake challenges that's processed. But I understand like the foods that respond well to me. Like when I do pizzas, I know that doesn't affect me. When I do burgers, I know it doesn't affect me. If I were to do something else, maybe like something that doesn't align with my body or doesn't respond well, yes, you're gonna notice a bigger difference on that. But when I go have fun foods, if I'm having fun foods with my friends, if I'm just going out doing these challenges again, right? I know the foods that are gonna respond well to my body. And this is how I play with my clients too, figuring out what foods they like and the non-negotiables. So when they go out, we can figure out how to implement into their program so they don't set themselves back. We keep progressing forward. And this is how I kind of do it myself as well. Now, I kind of want to leave with this though, is like to help you avoid these same mistakes as I did. Is when we look at mistake number one that I was doing is not hitting the protein, and that's a lot of you guys are doing. what you want to do is you want to aim at least 1 gram per pound of lean body weight. So to avoid this mistake, aim at least 1 gram per pound lean body weight. So what does it look like? Let's just say you're a person that weighs 200 and you want to be a person that weighs 175. That's 175 grams of protein you gotta hit every single day. So that's mistake number one you can avoid. Let's go mistake number 3 here first, is tracking calories for the wrong reason. Now, when we're tracking calories, if it doesn't matter, like let's just say we're cutting, right? We're trying to go fat loss. We're tracking for the wrong reason. We're trying to track, what the number on the scale is going to be. Yes, that time will come, but at the same time, y'all already have been in deficit for so long. You guys have no muscle mass, and you guys have not been hitting protein. So when we're tracking calories for the right reasons, we're making sure we have enough protein, and we're making sure we have enough calories, so we can build muscle and things like that. So this is how you avoid mistake number 3 of tracking calories for the right reasons, of making sure you have enough protein, making sure you get enough calories, and making sure you build muscle all in the same time. Now, once you start doing that, you avoid mistake number 2 by knowing the foods and responses, how it feels your body, right? You're going to start understanding how certain foods, the proteins you get from whole foods versus proteins you get from processed foods. You're going to understand how, carbohydrates feel your body pre and post workout, as opposed to just having carbohydrates all in one day right before bed. You're going to understand how the fats sit well with your body, right? You're going to understand how fats like are slow in digestion. So you might want to have higher fats later in the evening as opposed to right before your workout, all those things like that. Knowing the responses, also too, know how the foods sit with you, right? Again, for me, Greek yogurt, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, they don't sit well for me, but like for you, they might do. And that's why it's important. Again, for you, red meat, it might not sit well for you, but for me, red meat sits well for me. So it's just like find different ways to tailor to know what foods respond well for you and how the food feels you over time. Now, mistake number 4, getting your steps. Again, I'm always talking about if you're a person that's having 2K steps, start small, go to 3, then go to 4, then go to 5, and so on and so forth, right? So start small, but aim at least 10K steps, all right? Water intake. Make sure, I know a lot of people that drink coffees, energy drinks, other sort of drinks, but they don't drink water and things like that. And this is the issue a lot of times. People feel sluggish, lethargic, bloated, all those things like that. It's because they're not optimizing the water intake. So the way to do so, you do half ounces of water and body weight. So we're taking, for example, you're 200 pounds, right? And you try to be 175. You take 175 divided by 2, that's like 86, right? Let's just go with that. So it's 87 ounces of water that you have to intake every single day to make sure you're optimizing the proper hydration for you. But also, too, make sure you get enough electrolytes like sodium to help replenish and keep yourself hydrated as well. Sleep and stress. Track your sleep. Track it, like you can't really track stress, but try to find ways that you feel like you're at a high state of stress, or find ways what causes you stress. Then, like once you know what causes stress, find ways to cope with it. Find ways to find your inner peace. Be calm and things that I'm telling you, stress is a secret killer to fat loss and things that if you have a high stress every single day, you're not gonna lose fat and things that it's just gonna be keeping you in store. So that honestly could be a game changer to helping you lose those first 5 pounds in just 30 days as well. I know this big one right here is vegetables. A lot of you guys don't eat enough vegetables, even though you think of salad as vegetables. Sometimes you're not eating that much of salad. You probably have just once a day and things like that. Also, you're not eating enough fruit. You're not having enough fiber inside your body to help aid in the digestion, help absorb those nutrients as your body needs so. So making sure you get at least, 2 to 3 cups of fruit. Making sure you get at least 2 to 3 cups of vegetables. Making sure you get enough fiber inside yourself and inside your meals to help push everything, absorb everything, and flow naturally and things like that. Make sure you're getting your vegetables. And lastly, stop falling back in your old ways. Trust me, I've been there. I've been in my old ways for a long time. I've been doing it for like 3 or 4 years. But now I'm in a position where I've learned all the mistakes, and the best part is like everybody makes mistakes. The only difference is how you do the opposite. Because everybody looks at mistakes and like you feel like they're a failure, but this is the reason why we fail because we learn from our mistakes, and the only way we use our mistakes is turn it to an opposite or turn it into be something better. And all the mistakes I did, and I show you. This is how I improve to get myself to where I need to be and where I'm at in the position I'm today. So look at the mistakes, see which mistakes you're lacking, work on that first mistake. Then over the course of time, once you master that mistake and once you master that foundation of that, you need to go, then work on the next mistake, then work on the next one, so on until you master all the mistakes you're doing. So you don't put yourself in that position again that you feel inconfident, you feel insecure, you don't like how the clothes are feeling, all those things like that. You kill that by mastering the mistakes. So, y'all, that is it. I hope you guys found this value. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.